Hello. As you can see, I have my sketchbook out and a ton of markers. Basically these are the arrtx dual-ended acrylic markers and the arrtx regular acrylic markers. This is like the old design. They're pretty old now. I'm gonna do an honest review as someone who has been using them for like over a year now. So yeah, first things first is we have to draw something on this page. I was gonna do like one of these sketches, but I just decided to just draw something new. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. We're going into the speed draw portion of this video before we color it in. Okay, so I have finished the sketch I drew for you. It's now time to color it in. I'm gonna sit down. Gotta sit down to do this. Okay. Basically I've had these acrylic markers for years now. Probably like 2 years, I wanna say. I don't know, when they first blew up. It's hard to tell time, so when they first blew up, that's about when I bought them. I got them and I was like, holy cow, these actually work really good. And now it's been like a year or two since I got them, and my opinion has stayed about the same, except I don't know. Okay, so when I first got them, it was really nice because I could draw like on top of pencil and not have to worry about like the pencil sketch getting like mixing up with the colors and then like making it look ugly, because now like you have a bunch of pencil inside of the sketches. But the problem is that with time, I don't know if all acrylic markers do this, but the binder that connects the pigment and the like paint itself, so like you know how like all paints have like a binder and then the pigment, whatever is the pigment and the binder, and some of these has begun to separate. So I don't know if we'll see that in some of these, but I don't know if we'll see that today, but I think I've thrown away. Also, the reason there's not like all the colors is because with time, it took about 2 years, I would say. Recently, I went through my collection and I started to throw away the old ones, like the ones that don't work anymore. And a lot of them were old because I had been using them for so long. Oh, this is another thing. The nibs, like, they get pretty damaged pretty quickly. I know that the new ones have different nibs, so I think they realized that issue and they fixed it with the latest ones, but in my personal experience, the nibs, like, get, like, really ugly really quickly, and it's really annoying when you're trying to draw, because then you have, like, a bent nib, and it's, like, hard to, like, angle it properly and stuff. So that's definitely a complaint I have, but like I said, I think it's something they fix later on. I would love to get my hands on some new arrtx markers and like give them more, I don't know, updated review, I guess, because this is my opinion on markers that I've had for a while. So like I'm talking about the longness of the markers. I'm talking about like if you use them for like years in a row, what that looks like. I am talking about the long haul, basically, of like if you use these markers for over a year, do they still hold up? And I want to say yes. There is some problems, like I've mentioned, that I have foreseen. For example, the pigment and the binder separating in some of the markers, and it's harder on these because like these ones that don't have the little ball inside of the ink where you can like mix it up so that way it like reconnects the binder and the pigment. But because these don't have that, when the binder begins to separate, it just kind of trashes the marker. So that's definitely something you need to like look at if you're gonna get these, and like, you know, you're not gonna use them religiously for like a month or two. I think with frequent use, you don't have this problem as much, but I sort of have like sprouts where I don't draw with certain supplies as much as other times. So for me, it became a bit of a difficulty because like I can't use all my supplies at once. And so for me, a lot of my supplies ends up sitting on a shelf or something for a while. And that happened to this one too. Something I do have to say that is a plus to these markers is that it's been 2 years since I've had them and they still have ink, which is really impressive. Like, obviously some of like my favorite colors have already dried up and I've had to dispose of them. But for markers that have been in my shelf for 2 years and I've been using on and off for 2 years, it's actually really impressive that they still work. Like, especially majority of them still work. I think that's a really good sign that you're definitely going to get your money's worth with these ones. Oh, also, I should have probably mentioned this earlier. I'm not being paid. I bought these with my own money. I am not sponsored. I'm a very small channel. I'm not being paid at all. arrtx did not send me these or anything because, again, small channel. I am just honestly giving this my own review as someone who bought them with their own money. I just honestly think that they're really good. I like them. In some colors where I haven't used it as much, the brush is still like brand new. Like, let me see if I can show you guys. I don't know if that caught on camera. I hope it did. Otherwise I'm gonna look stupid, but maybe here. But yeah, so I've been using them like on and off for 2 years and they still work pretty good. Like I said, my number one complaint is just that the binder separates, and then the other complaint is that hold on, let me draw for a little bit because I'm not doing enough drawing. Oh, I don't have enough colors. That's another thing. The color range back then was not as good as it is now. Now you can get up to 96 colors, which is really cool. I definitely don't have that luxury right now, so I'm just using whatever I got. Oh, it's eating the paper. That's another thing, is that these older ones, like this one I think is almost dried out, so that's also why it's eating the paper. But my number one things that I don't like about the markers is the nibs. The ink separates if you haven't been using them as frequently as you usually do. And then the last thing I would say is probably the color selection, which they fix. All of these 3 things, by the way, is fixable and they fixed. So like in the future, I hope they fix them now. I honestly, like I said, I haven't gotten them in a while, but like longevity wise, like I'm saying this as someone who's had them for years now, like over a year, like probably 2 years or more. I want to say that they work really good. They're really good markers. They last a long time. You can draw with them for a long time and they still will work. A lot of the ink ends up working for years ahead, which is really good. And as someone, like I said, who's had them for multiple years, I just want to say that, like, also I completely messed up this drawing. I like messed up her hair. I'm gonna try and fix that in a bit. But as someone who's had them for a very long time, I will say I definitely think they're worth it. I would say if I had to choose between these two, the dual tip ones and the arrtx acrylic markers, the ones that you see everywhere, I'll get these. Don't get these ones. These ones, the ink doesn't go on either side, and I have them laid down. Like literally this side is dried out. Like you can kind of see some of the paint, but like on this one works a little bit better, but on most of them they're dried out or they just don't show up. Like you can draw and they'll show up a little bit, but they won't show up like as strong as the other side. It'll show up kind of like dry, and on the other side you can get more color and like it's stronger. So those are my number one complaints. Pros, I would say they last a long time. I know a lot of people that like do reviews have had them for like a month or two, and they're like, yeah, they work really long time and stuff. But as someone who like was using them for like 2 years, I can 100% say they last a long time. Like they definitely last. But like I said, I'm not being paid. I don't have a sponsorship with arrtx. I'm literally just giving this review because I want to. And yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think about the arrtx markers. Do you use them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they're kind of bad, or do you think they're kind of good? Let me know down below, and I think the rest of this video is probably going to end up being a speed draw. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you end up loving them, or if you have bought them before, let me know if you've ended up loving them, or if you ended up hating them, or did you end up not using them at all? Are they your favorite supplies? I know a lot of people, like a lot of big artists, use them all the time. They're very excellent. They're like great, like almost substitutes for gouache. I would say, like, they work very similarly to gouache, like regular gouache, not acrylic gouache. So that definitely is something I think a lot of people really like about them, is that like they're similar to the paint medium they're sort of mimicking, which is like acrylic and gouache. I personally really like them. I think they're I keep going back to this part because I messed it up, but it's not wanting to layer anymore. Ooh, that bled through so bad. Oh no. That's not the marker's fault. That's me, because I used a dried up marker and it completely ate through the paper. That's not the marker's fault. That's my fault. I guess it could be the marker's fault too. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely will say that these markers are really good. The sketchbook work, I'm not 100% sure if they're any light fast. I don't think so. I also don't think they have pigment information, which means it's definitely not light fast now that I think about it, because I'm not 100% sure they're light fast. And maybe they can answer this question for me eventually, if I ever end up figuring out how they work. I'm gonna just color in the eyes, and then we can go into a speed paint. Yeah, because I'm pretty much done talking, I think. I talked about how they last a long time. I talked about how they are really good for long work. I also have the guana markers that I've been seeing everywhere. Those ones I didn't buy. My partner got me them, so I definitely think that I will be reviewing those eventually, but not right now, because this is about the arrtx markers. I grabbed the wrong marker. This was about the arrtx markers, so I wanted to make sure that I provided a fair review. I might do a comparison video eventually and like compare these markers to like the guana markers, as well as the Posca markers, and what's another big brand that does this? The Grabby markers. I might eventually do like a big comparison video of all of them, because I am curious to see which one it works best, because they all are very popular. I think it also comes down to personal preference, but I don't know. But yeah, we're going into the speed paint now. I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Bye. Here is the finished drawing. I think it came out pretty cool. I would have used other colors that I have, but I didn't because they're not arrtx markers. They're like other brands, and this was an arrtx video, so I only used arrtx markers, and like it bled through. That's not the fault of the markers, that's my fault, because I kept using it even though it was dried out and it like ate through the paper. But otherwise, yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. Thank you for watching. I hope my review was somewhat helpful. Probably not, but I do recommend them for just because they last a long time, and I think that's the most important part. And like, you can make some pretty cool art with them. Like, look at this. It really looks pretty fire. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you at some other video. Bye.